If you're anything like me, you're probably wondering, how the hell are all these people making over $10,000 a month online and make it look so easy? And the truth is, it's not easy at all. And I learned this through several failed businesses, trial and error, and months of working day in and day out with no results. And I was not only able to figure out how to do it, but actually how to do it quickly. So today I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I figured out how to speed run from not just 0 to 10,000, but $30,000 per month, and exactly what people aren't gonna tell you in the process of how I did it. About a year ago, I had around $70 in my bank account, and I was still living with my parents because I hadn't figured anything out. And this isn't because I wasn't trying. I was actually trying very hard. I literally tried every business model, drop shipping, tried starting an agency, trading, almost everything you can think of, but I still couldn't manage to break free what felt like a prison of being broke. And during this time frame, I couldn't help but to think, all these people I see online in their early 20s, living my dream life, buying supercars, living in penthouses, doing all this cool stuff, there's no way that they're special or better than me in any way. So what is it that actually makes them different? Is it luck? Is it knowing the right person? Is it having the right business model? I couldn't figure it out, but then I realized it all comes down to one thing, and that is the skills that you have. There's a quote by Abe Lincoln that goes, if I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 4 of those sharpening my axe. I was trying to succeed in all these different businesses with no real skills to back it up. And this is where I was messing up. I was swinging at this tree hard, but I had a dull axe. Once I figured this out, my results skyrocketed. Now I'm 20 years old and make multiple 6 figures per year, and I've achieved financial freedom, all from my laptop after learning just one skill. And I'm not saying it was easy at all. In fact, it wasn't. But after I figured out what differentiates successful versus unsuccessful people, at least now I knew that the efforts I was putting in was actually getting somewhere. So today I'm gonna break down exactly what I did once I learned how important skill sets actually is, and how I speed ran from 0 to $30,000 per month. Once I realized that I needed to lock in on learning a high paying skill, I knew the first step was choosing the right one to actually set me financially free. And looking back, this was the most important decision I had made and got me to where I'm at today. And I wish that I could say I ended up choosing sales for some random reason, but the truth is I did it the boring way. I opened up my laptop, I started doing research. This was all I could think about all day, is figuring out what skill I'm gonna lock in on for the next period of time to get me to that financial freedom. So I was doing research, reaching out to people that I knew that were further ahead than me in business. I was doing everything that I could have to figure out what the different possibilities are, and I eventually decided to go into sales. I chose to learn sales because I knew it would help me with communication as well as persuasion, and it's gonna help me with negotiating. Also, I saw that most self-made billionaires actually started in direct sales, so it's gonna help me a ton with my future businesses, and it turns out that I got results much quicker than just using it in my future businesses.
David Production.
Step 2, after I actually chose the skill, I knew I had wasted years, so it was time to go all in. And going all in obviously requires sacrifice. So this is all I did all day. I didn't know how it worked, how to start, or how to actually make money from it, which I'll go over here in just a second. But all I knew is that people were making money from this, so I can as well. So my whole day was centered around this. The second that I woke up until the time that my head hit the pillow at night, I was watching YouTube videos, I was investing into mentorships, learning as much as possible, reading books, and I went all in on learning as much as I can. And honestly, this was one of the hardest periods of my journey. I wasn't talking to anyone or going out. It was just a period of focus and grinding. And I know most people don't like to show that, but it's the reality of what you have to go through. The third step, once I actually learned the skill, was actually implementing it to make money. And even after all this time that I had spent learning the skill, once it was time to implement this into my first sales role, it went horribly. I was grinding for weeks and didn't make any money at all. So I left that sales position and kept pushing for months, trying out different positions, and eventually landed my first sales position. And then fast forward months after that, after trying different sales positions, different industries, and finally finding a growing industry that's easy to sell in, combined with my new skill set, I'm now making over $30,000 a month. And now it feels amazing to finally see results after years of putting in work with nothing to show for it. And looking back, I can say that choosing a skill that you can get paid for is truly the quickest way to go from 0 to 5 figures per month. It just makes a ton of sense. With sales, for example, businesses are always going to need someone to sell their product. And if you can become the middleman that facilitates the transaction from the business to the customer and get paid for it, you're always going to make money. And it really is extremely simple. All you need to do is learn the sales process, learn what makes people buy, become good at making these transactions actually happen, and get paid for facilitating them. And once you become good at actually closing a high percentage of these transactions, you become extremely valuable to these companies, and they're going to be willing to pay you a lot of money. And what feels even better than just getting results is knowing that I now have a high paying skill and I'll never go broke again. And that's exactly how I speed ran from 0 to $30,000 a month. I hope you guys got some good value out of this video. And if you want to learn a little bit more about sales, I have a free Discord community where I have some resources to actually get you started. Other than that, if you guys have any more specific content that you want me to make, just let me know and make sure to subscribe.